Hello everyone, in this class you may or may not require a resistance band. I just personally like to use one because it feels nicer on my shoulder blades. Coming into the back of your mat, down to a child's pose shoulder stretch, and back up to a hero's pose. Down to a child's pose shoulder stretch, back up to heroes. Down to a child's pose shoulder stretch, back up to heroes. Coming back down, ditching the resistance band if you are holding on to one, and coming down to a child's pose just momentarily. Coming up now to your downward facing dog. We're just going to hold our downward dog for a moment. Raising up your left leg now. Holding for one more moment. Then lower your right knee to the ground. Bring your right elbow to left knee, bird dog crunch. Extend, toe tap if needed, press back up to three-legged dog. Lower your right knee. Right elbow comes to left knee, bird dog crunch. Extend, toe tap if needed, and press back up, three-legged dog. Lower your right knee. Bird dog crunch. Extend, press back up. Lower your right knee, bird dog crunch, extend, press back up. This time send your left foot ahead of you into low crescent lunge, hands up and overhead as though you're holding a ball above your head. Feel free to keep your right toes tucked. Now rising through your right knee, coming into a warrior two. Raising your hands up above your head, leaning left, pulsing right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Coming up into your half moon posture. Take your time coming up to this posture. Engage the heck out of your core. Feel free to keep your left toes in, heel out, just for better balance. And now coming over to your forward fold, bending from the hips, not your lower back. And then stepping back to your downward facing dog. Now lifting up your right leg, three-legged dog, holding just momentarily. Then lower your left knee, left elbow to right knee, bird dog crunch, extend, toe tap if you need to, press back up, three-legged dog. Lower the left knee, bird dog crunch, extend, press back up, three-legged dog. Lower the knee, bird dog crunch, extend, press back up. Lower the knee, bird dog crunch, extend, press back up. Lower the knee, and this time bring your right foot to the front of your mat, low crescent lunge, arms up and overhead. As though you're holding a ball above your head, feel free to keep the left toes tucked. This time rising through your left leg, coming up to your warrior two. Arms up and overhead, leaning right, left side pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Coming up to your half moon posture, take your time coming into this one. remembering that you can have your toes turned in, heel turned out, just for better balance. Then coming down to your forward fold, rising up halfway just a little bit, bending from the hips, not the lower back. And then rising up to your Tadasana, mountain pose. Just to allow ourselves to catch our breath, allow our heart rate to come back down a little bit. Just to ground ourselves, center ourselves. Now shifting your weight to your right side, grabbing onto your left knee. We're working on a bit of balance in this posture, but we're also stretching out our left glute. Flexing your left foot, grabbing onto your left foot, and to the best of your abilities, coming into a left side standing iron cross. Posture mightn't be pretty, you mightn't last that long, that's completely fine. Stepping back to your high crescent lunge. Hands up and overhead as though you're still holding on to that ball. Just gonna hold here for a couple of moments. Grabbing onto your resistance band now if you like, coming into those same upper body motions we started off with. And bowing down, right shoulder, right knee, coming back up. Exhale, coming down, inhaling, coming up. Coming down, coming up. Coming back down, and holding in your humble warrior. And now releasing the resistance band if you are holding on to one. And slightly shifting your weight around to a twisted high lunge. Left hand is planted, right hand's in the air. Then feel free to dip your hips first, or shift your foot back, or skip your foot back like I did into your left side high plank. Lower your hips. From here we're coming into hip lifts. So lift up, right arm up and overhead, lower back down. Lift up, and lower, and lift up, and lower, and lift up, stay lifted, this time pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, high plank. Left leg forward into your pigeon pose. Take your time coming into this posture and adjust as many times as you need to. I was on just a little bit of a slope, so I found it pretty helpful to loop my right elbow around my left foot. You can of course add props under your hip, your left side hip. Slowly rising back up, coming into downward facing dog. Just holding for a brief moment. And now slowly, about 4 to 6 steps, walk back towards the front of your mat, forward fold. Rising up Tadasana. Just going to hold our Tadasana for a little bit. Then shifting your weight into your left side, grabbing your right knee. So once again we're balancing but we're also stretching. Flexing your right foot, grabbing onto your right foot. and then extending out with as much time as you need into standing iron cross. You might find one side's a lot more cooperative than the other. So feeling very proud of yourself for how long you lasted and stepping back into high crescent lunge. Now this time coming into eagle arms, left under right, same upper body motion. Coming down, left shoulder, left knee, coming back up. Exhaling, coming down, inhaling, coming up. Lower down, lift back up. Lower down, and holding. Feel free to bring your arms behind you, almost gripping onto opposite elbows. Rising up just a little bit to add some more length in the back, but coming down into your humble warrior, with a very subtle, gentle shoulder stretch. Now releasing the arms, right hand plants, left hand in the air. Coming into our twisted high lunge, and then feel free to lower your hips or shift your foot back, or in this case skip your foot back like I did. Come into right side high plank, then lower your hips, coming into those hip lifts, lifting up, left arm up and overhead and lower, lift and lower, and lift, and lower, and lift. Stay lifted, pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming into a high plank, right side pigeon pose this time. Shifting your right foot forward, adjusting as many times as you need to, whether or not you require props. Or if you don't have any props, see if you can't loop your elbow, your opposite elbow, around your opposite foot. That'll definitely help to keep the hips and the upper body nice and squared off. From here, rising up, shifting up just slightly, shifting your right foot under you, shifting over to your left side hips into a modified side plank, right foot in front, lifting up your hips and lowering, lifting up your hips and lowering, and lifting and lowering, and lifting, staying lifted. Shift your right foot behind you into wild thing, whatever that looks and feels like to you. Shifting back around however you see fit, coming back into a right side lunge, but then shifting around just a tad more into right side skandasana. So being sure that your right heel is planted, right knee is somewhere near in line with your right toes, but more importantly, your left foot is flexed, toes up to the sky, and kneecap is engaged. If you feel safer and more secure having your hands planted on the ground, then by all means keep your hands planted. But now and again, see if you can't challenge yourself to having your palms together and or prayer hands. Now coming back through to a high lunge of sorts, and then up to a three-legged dog, so your right leg extends. Coming back through, right knee to chest pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Sending your right foot outside of you, somewhere outside the left side of your mat to fallen triangle. Coming back through to a high plank. Just holding a high plank for a moment. This time shifting onto your right side. Left foot in front, modified variation side plank. Lifting up your hips, left arm up and overhead, and lower back down. Lifting up, lowering down. Lifting up, lowering back down. Lifting up, staying lifted. Left leg shifts back into your wild thing. Then shifting back around however you see fit, shifting your left foot in front of you to a lunge. Then shifting around just a tad more, however you get there, into our left side Skandasana. Left heel is grounded. Left knee is somewhere near in line with your left toes. More importantly, your right foot is flexed and your kneecap is engaged. See if you can't challenge yourself to prayer hands, but if you do feel safer and more secure with your hands planted, then by all means, keep your hands on the mat. And now from here, shifting back around to a high lunge. And then pressing up into a three-legged dog. Left leg extends. Then bringing left knee to chest. And pumping the knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then sending your left foot somewhere outside of the right side of your mat, fallen triangle. Returning back to high plank. Holding your high plank briefly. Coming down temporarily into a well-deserved child's pose, just for a brief siesta. Feel free to disengage the arms, meaning just relax your elbows. From here, rolling through to tabletop. Then you're going to extend your right leg, left arm, bird dog crunches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Knees, chest, and chin. Upward facing dog. Then coming back to a tabletop. This time left leg, right arm, bird dog crunches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This time high plank. And you're going to bend your left leg, right leg straight. Then right knee to chest, left leg straight. Up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Knees, chest, and chin. Upward facing dog. Coming back to a high plank. And then switching over to the other side. So this time, Right knee bends, left leg is straight. Left knee to chest, right leg is straight for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. High plank, and then crossing your legs under you, shifting over your heels, and sitting all the way back into your Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose. We have reached the other side of class, so feel free to just flop, relax. You have finished the workout, so heels together and knees apart. Just rest, relax, catch your breath, and allow your heart rate to come back down. And now coming up into an easy seated pose, however you see fit. So once you've gotten yourself adjusted to an easy seated pose, taking in nice deep breaths, then raising your hands up and overhead, all that positive energy above you, bring it on down to yourself. Bow it out with yourself. Thank yourself so much for being on the mat, being present with yourself. Thank you all so much for watching and or flowing. I do appreciate it either way. Thank you all so much for being here, and I shall see you all for my future videos. Namaste.